Hello, creative visionaries. I'm your host, Eunice, and this is Embody Your Brilliance, a space where we expand what's possible, where you uncover your hidden brilliance, including the parts of you that you might have dismissed as irrelevant or insignificant or rejected as something to be ashamed of, and instead reclaiming all parts of you as gold and betting on yourself so you can bring your vision to reality with ease and pleasure without burning out or sacrificing yourself along the way. Welcome to season 2. Let's drop in. Hi! Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've recorded a podcast episode. I think it's been, 5 months? That's wild. So much life has happened, so much business has happened. I went to Egypt. I launched my mastermind, Brilliance. I hosted my client retreat in Joshua Tree. Teo is turning 2 this week. I am celebrating 2 years of motherhood. Business is expanding. Life is lifing. Here we are. I am so excited to catch up. Season 2 is going to be so juicy. I'm not gonna lie, I've had this on my mind for a while now, for months to come back. And when you hype yourself up, like, oh my God, it's gonna be a comeback and I'm gonna reimagine the way I show up here. And, I had all these podcast topics lined up in terms of what the season 2 was going to be like. And then, yeah, I just got hung up on the details of, I want it to be really good. And I think I've just been waiting for the perfect moment. And now I'm just like, okay, I gotta go. I gotta go. I have the capacity. It's time to go because I love being here with you guys. And I have so many stories. And it's just undeniable how important it is for us to all really embrace our unique brilliance in this moment in time on this earth and to show up with it in whatever capacity, in whatever way it wants to. But whatever your thing is, your gifts, your mission, your assignment on this earth in this lifetime, it is so, so crucial that we show up with it, even if it's not a business, right? But okay, let's get into it. Today, we're going to talk about surrendering. I'm curious what this word brings up in you because I grew up for most of my life thinking surrender is a bad thing. It sounds like you're saying you're losing, white flag. That's like the worst thing that I feel like I could do as someone who is a high achieving eldest daughter of immigrants in a Korean American household who did really well in school and loved winning. Surrendering sounds like the worst thing you could do. And yet, I have been reminded viscerally, undeniably, over and over again, especially the last 6 months, how surrendering is what is being asked of me in this moment. It's the strategy. And I'll share a little bit about my Egypt trip because surrender really became the theme unexpectedly to my time there. That was not the theme that I was going in with. I don't even know what the theme was for me. My intention, I think, was to really, this was going to be my one big solo trip for the year. So all the moms know, particularly postpartum and new moms know how sacred me time is. Teo at that time, how old was he? Like a year and a half. I've done little things here and there. I drove to LA, had a little evening there to myself, and I can't complain. But to go to Egypt for over a week by myself on this retreat with other women in business away from Teo and Nick, that was a big deal. And I knew that it was one of those once in a lifetime opportunities where when else am I going to Egypt and when else am I going to do that with other women in business? And as a mom, like, I don't know what the future holds. Anyway, that's how much weight I was putting on this trip. It was a big investment financially, energetically, and to coordinate childcare and all the things. You already know. So I just want to paint the scene of how much stakes I put on this trip going well. Part of the appeal was that the whole week was planned and all I needed to do was show up. I didn't need to worry about food or, all the things. But before we went to Luxor, which is where the retreat was held, we had a day together in Cairo. But I decided to go there a day ahead because I wanted to adjust to the time zone a little bit. And I wanted just one day of nothing. I just wanted one day of pure luxury, which for me is just open space and surrounded by beauty and surrounded by good food and in a bougie hotel and silence, silence. I wanted a little mommy vacation sort of thing where I had this perfect, luxurious, pleasure-filled day. I imagined myself waking up, which by the way, this hotel is incredible. Mina House, it opens up into the pyramids. You basically wake up and you see the Great Pyramids. It's wild. And the breakfast is so luxurious. And I don't know why I put so much weight on this, but I guess it makes sense looking back. So ever since I had Teo, honestly, let's be real. Ever since the pandemic and maybe my entire life, I've been trying to get in shape and get really strong. And I keep calling it my fitness journey, but back in 2020, I was getting really into the gym and I was lifting weights and I would go every day. This was when I was living in Brooklyn and New York. And then the pandemic hit, and I don't know how your fitness journey went, but I was like, "Well, I can't go to the gym, so I can't work out," you know? And so it was like that for the rest of 2020, 2021. I moved back. There's a lot of things happening. I'm trying to rebuild my business, all the things. I'm busy. And I just never really did that. Like I did yoga, I did all these other things, I did dance, but I never went back to weightlifting. And then I got pregnant and I was like, well, I can't really, be really intense at the gym. So I remember that was the one thing, like, okay, after Teo, after postpartum healing, I really want to get strong again. I really want to build muscle and life was happening. I just kept postponing. Anyway, I was a year and a half postpartum. I was like, now is the time for me, at least. I felt ready. And I was postponing it all. And then I realized when I booked this hotel, the first thing I looked at was, is there a gym? And then when I looked it up, not only was there a gym, but there was a sauna. And for whatever reason, I got fixated on that. Like, okay, the one day that I have where I have no plans, all I want to do is wake up, see the pyramids, have a luxurious Egyptian breakfast, and then I want to go to the gym, start my fitness journey, and go to the sauna and relax. And then I want to do nothing except reading and just being in bed, just this whole luxurious staycation sort of vibe. Looking back, I'm like, why would I go all the way over to Egypt and go to the hotel gym and stay in bed? Like, it makes no sense. But that's how my brain was working at the time. That's what my perfect plan was. I had it planned to the T. And of course, the universe had other plans. So I'm going to tell you what happened. And then and then we can talk more about surrendering because Egypt challenged me. Egypt really, really tested me, but I am proud of how I responded to it. Okay, hold on. Let me bring my journal from Egypt because I wrote some things. I have little journal entries that might show up in this podcast episode. Okay, so I Go to LAX, get on my flight, which by the way was already a shit show. Like Turkish Airlines, do y'all have a good experience with Turkish Airlines? Because back in 2016, I thought I had an okay experience, but oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm gonna take Turkish Airlines again. But everything was delayed and it was so like, I wasn't even sure if I was gonna be able to get on the flight, like, that's how it was, and I was like, "Okay, this is not feeling like the luxurious, easeful, pleasure-filled journey so far," but I was like, "Okay, this is just a flight, let's just roll with it," and I just leaned into my type B girly vibe to be like, "Okay, it's fine, roll with it." Everything was delayed, and I forget how long the flights were, but it was really, really, really long. I was traveling all day. You know how it is as a toddler mom. I was so tired from going straight from work and parenting and then waking up really early, getting on the flight, all the things. I was really tired. Finally land in Cairo. It started out okay because part of this luxurious retreat experience was that someone came to get me, and then we were just going to the baggage claim. And by then, I think it was like 1:30 AM or something, or 2 AM. We landed there way later than we were supposed to, like an hour or 2 later. So, okay, I'm just setting the scene. I was really, really tired. It was like 1 or 2 AM. Okay, the carousel, the luggage carousel is going, and, in the beginning, I'm just waiting, and then 10 minutes go by, 30 minutes go by, an hour goes by, and I'm starting to feel like something is wrong. Cause you know how, like, everyone got their luggage, and I'm like, "Why am I the only one standing there?" And so I asked my guy, like, "Is this normal? Can we ask?" And he's like, "No, it's normal. Don't worry. This is very normal." And then he goes to the little I don't know what you call it, like, the luggage person little booth, and then which, by the way, we had to, like, fight to get in there. We were like, "Please look this up." And guess what the guy tells me? He's like, "Oh, your luggage is in LAX. It's at the airport." And I was like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean?" And he's like, "Yeah, it never went on the plane." And I was like, "What? How is that possible?" Which now, by the way, I think it was like 3 AM or 3:30 AM. It was really, really late. Everyone's tired. And I remember in that moment, I started crying and I was like, "Oh my god. This is not the easeful, luxurious landing that I had planned for. And what do you mean my luggage is in LAX?" I was so pissed and so frustrated, but my response was I cried for a second. I was so mad, and then I gave myself a minute of it's like a huddle with all the parts of myself being like, "Okay, what am I gonna do in this moment? It's 4 AM. I'm freaking tired. I still have my carry-on. There's nothing they can do besides put it on the next flight over." I was like, "Okay, I can either be really pissed and ruin my one free day of the year where I have nothing to do in this beautiful place, or I somehow get over it and roll with it." And then I reminded myself, okay, not that the goal is always like regulating your nervous system, but in that moment, I was like, okay, do I want to keep going with this feeling of anger and loss of control and all of this? Or do I want to roll with this and see what else is possible given the situation? So I was like, I don't know. Within a minute or so, I got myself to a point where I'm still frustrated or angry. But I was like, "Okay, fine. Okay, fine." It was like, "Okay, fine" energy. And I made sure that I was gonna be on the next flight over, which, by the way, meant that it was gonna come in potentially 2 days, and it was gonna come potentially the morning of when I'm supposed to fly to Luxor. So it's just already stressful because it's like, what if the luggage comes after I leave for Luxor? Then I won't have my luggage for the entire week that I'm there. And also, they're saying, oh, you have to come pick it up from the airport. I'm like, I don't know. It's just such a hot mess. Anyway, I'm kind of like complaining about this to my guy and the car ride over to this beautiful hotel, which by the time I get there is probably closer to 5 a.m. or something like that. I check in to my hotel, I go into the bedroom, and I look up when the breakfast time is, like the iconic luxurious breakfast that they have at the hotel, which by the way, so that means like my dream day, like my perfect day that I planned starts in about 2 hours. Because I think breakfast is from like 6 to 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. or something like that. So I was like, okay, so I basically have not slept for 24 hours with this flight situation. And then now I can't sleep tonight because it's already 5:30 a.m. And I try sleeping and I can't sleep because of jet lag. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" You know, as a mom, as a postpartum new mom, sleep is one of the highest valued currencies of all time. I wanted sleep this week. At that point, sleeping through the night and having luxurious sleep and no one really crying in the morning, that was gonna be gold and pure medicine for me for a week. And I've had worse sleep coming over here than actually being at home with Teo. So already I was like, are you kidding me? Like I was really looking forward to this perfect day, looking forward to this breakfast. If I fall asleep now, then I'm gonna miss the breakfast, like the one big thing that I paid for essentially. I was like, okay, I guess I'm just staying up and just going to early breakfast. So I am planning to go to breakfast, this luxurious breakfast at 6 a.m. or something. And then I realized I have no clothes. I have nothing that is wearable for this fancy breakfast because everything was in my suitcase that's not here. And also, it's December in Egypt, which meant it's the perfect time to go. But in the mornings and evenings, it can be quite cold. But I have no outerwear, and I look and feel so tired. And I didn't have any of my skincare, makeup, hair things, or really like any outfits besides one skirt and one shirt that I wore on the plane. Like it was so bad. And so I was like, okay, well, what am I gonna do? So I looked in the hotel closet and there was a white robe. And then I had my sunglasses. So I legit showed up in my hotel robe, in my sunglasses, with my backpack and my laptop and journal, just rolled up, 6 a.m. I'm delirious, taking selfie videos of me and the pyramids in my robe and laughing like, what is life? What? And then I proceeded to have the most beautiful, most delicious breakfast of all time. Like, I legit dream about this. It was fresh guava juice, fresh strawberry juice, the Egyptian bread, jam, butter. I had this, I mean, it sounds kind of simple, but it was so good. And it was this like little egg thing over easy with onion, and I mean, it really just sounds so basic, but it was so good. Like I was having such a pleasure-filled breakfast and just overlooking the pyramids, and there's Egyptian music playing, and I'm just journaling, and part of me was like, "Okay, let's write my sales page for my mastermind." I was like, "What am I doing? No, 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 just journal, just take it all in." And so I have this beautiful breakfast. And then I go back to my room. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to sleep. Meanwhile, I'm like blowing up the retreat group chat which by the way, I came in also as not only a participant, but also a guest facilitator and a workshop leader. And so, just to give you the context, I was hoping to show up as, yeah, like this workshop facilitator for a somatic workshop and all this stuff. And my first introduction to the group is like, hi, I lost my luggage. Is everyone else's luggage okay? I really need to find a scarf. I really need to find something warm. Does anyone want to go shopping with me? I'm like playing this role of, oh my gosh, help me, which was not the vibe I was going for introducing myself. But at that point, I was so tired and I couldn't care anymore. So that was my little introduction of like, hey, I need help. And so I'm trying to sleep, and then, like, everyone's trying to help, so sweet. They're like, "Oh, if you can go to this mall, you can go there, you can go there." And I'm like, "Oh my god, like, it's an hour away. I don't know if I wanna go to a mall right now. I'm so tired, but I'm so cold." And, like by the way, this is around the time I was supposed to relax and go to the gym and sauna, have my luxurious day. So I'm in and out of sleep trying to text back the group about my needs around a scarf. I just got really fixated on needing a scarf because I wanted an Egyptian scarf to kind of like a shawl, because I thought that would be a really nice gift for people in my life as well as a nice outer layer. Okay, I'm going way more into detail about this Egypt trip than I anticipated, but hopefully it's fun. Okay, so people are giving really great and thoughtful suggestions. And then one of the women, Isanya, she was like, "Oh, I'm going to this place, a historical marketplace where I'm doing a tour with this person who's local and he's going to take us around and we can shop and all that stuff." And I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe I'll come with her to find a scarf." So I said yes, and I was so tired, but I got myself up and showed up at her Airbnb, and we proceeded to go find this man that was supposed to help us navigate this market, this bazaar. And it was essentially a shit show. We're trying to get in the cab, and I don't know if you've been to Cairo, the streets of Cairo, especially downtown, but anyway, we were thrown into that piece. Thank God she spoke a little bit of Arabic, but we're trying to get in the cab, and because especially like I present as a foreigner, we have to be very clear about not being scammed. And Yesenia's being a badass. She's like, "No, it's gonna be 200, okay?" And then they're like, "No." And it's just like you're being thrown into the downtown Cairo madness. Again, I'm just painting you the picture because what I planned for that day was to be sleeping in my hotel bed and in a sauna and reading my book. This is not the overstimulating downtown Cairo experience I was looking for my one day off. Okay, so we get in the cab somehow, and then we get trapped in the cab. Like, legit, he's driving in circles and he won't let us get off. And at one point, I just opened the door while we were driving. I was like, "Okay, can you please stop?" And he finally stopped. And then we gave him the cash, the 200, and then he immediately goes, "No, you only gave me 100." And then he, like, gave us the bills that we supposedly gave him, and for a moment, Yesenia and I were like, "Wait, what? I'm pretty sure we gave them the 200." He was scamming us. He was pretending like we gave him the 50 bills instead of the 100. Anyway, do you see how stressful the situation has already devolved into? Where I'm like opening the door of this cab in the middle of the highway sort of vibe. And then this man is trying to scam us. And then we get out of the cab and there's no pedestrian thing, crossing thing. So Senya's like, "Come on, let's go." And she runs across the street. And now I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna die. Like these cars are going so fast." And I'm like, "How did you get there?" And I'm just like, "Okay, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I'm gonna die." And then I just like run across the street and like cars are honking. And then we have to run across another street. And then we go to, I think it was a mosque. I don't remember exactly where we were. I honestly was so delirious and I don't even know where I was at that point. We're looking for this guy and she's texting this guy through WhatsApp, the tour guide. And we basically can't find him. He's like, "Oh, go this way, we can't," and we're like, "Oh, I don't know about this vibe." And so we just proceed to go into the market, which the market is chaotic, and the vendors are just following us around trying to get us to buy something. Anyway, I'm giving you the details again to contrast what I had planned for and also what was happening. But this whole experience, and Sunny and I are laughing through this whole experience, but also freaking like stressed. We're on guard, you know, because we don't want to be taken advantage of. Anyway, we go around, it's a hot mess, but I did find my scarves. So the scarf that I was so fixated on, I found beautiful scarves. I ended up getting like 8 scarves. I got it for my mom, Nick's mom, I got it for my aunt, I got it for myself. It was great. And Senya got some scarves too. And one of the best purchases, really. And so, did I get what I needed? The scarf? Yes. Is this exactly what I had imagined the journey would be to get? No. Anyway, I'm happy with this scarf and whatever. At least I got the job done. And then we're just so hungry now. So we end up finding a hole in the wall spot for dinner. And which, by the way, my toddler mom brain is like, "Oh my god, it's late, you know, it's 7 p.m. It's time to go to sleep." But then that's not how it is. Like in Cairo, like now everyone's like about to have dinner for the next 6 hours. So anyway, Sunny and I proceed to go to this really delicious spot and we have the most magical dinner. I think we ended up spending 4 hours there. And we talked about life, we talked about business, and I had realizations about the different parts of me showing up right now. We talked about our intentions for the week. And essentially, I figured out my 2026 business strategy during that conversation. I came into that week in Egypt already with a plan and a strategy for 2026 and how to scale my business essentially. And I thought I had to really not only launch my mastermind, but scale it. And I was really worried about how am I going to scale this? Because I love the intimate, deep aspects of this mastermind and just generally my work with my clients. And then I have to scale my visibility and all these things. And upon talking to Senya, what we realized that could be a really amazing fit for me specifically is licensing my work to organizations because I have this really robust decade of experience selling to organizations, selling to corporations, B2B sales essentially. I know how to land 5 figure, 6 figure contracts. I know how to basically have a goal to make millions of dollars in a year by selling to organizations. I've done that before. And I realized that that is not something that everyone has experience in because it was so normalized for me, you know, and being in from that world. I realized that one, that strategy does not require social media at all. That does not require becoming visible in a traditional sense on Instagram or anything like that. It's really relationship based and outreach based and being comfortable pitching, being comfortable navigating contracts, all these things. Anyway, I was like, wait, how have I been sleeping on this strategy? Because this is exactly what I'm built for. This is exactly what my unfair advantage is. And this will allow me to launch my mastermind if I want to. I'm not even relying on the mastermind really for my income, but it's more for fun in the future. In the beginning of 2026, it would matter the income because it gives me time to build out my B2B things. But it basically, my head was so focused looking one way at my plan, not just the whole gym, sauna, whatever plan, but my business plan. My head was so fixated in one direction. And basically, the universe, God, spirit, ancestors, whoever, basically had to sit my luggage in LAX and cause this whole chaos, basically block me and force me to show up with Senya in this market and have this dinner where I could realize that, oh, I could turn my head and go in a way more easeful, more abundant, more aligned path specifically for me. It's kind of like when you're playing a video game. I always use video game examples when I literally don't play video games. But I imagine this is what happens in a video game. Imagine your player is going off just so fiercely in the wrong direction. You're just driving all of your energy and effort, and your eyes are fixated going, let's just say, northeast. But the treasure that you're looking for is southwest. So, how do you get the character to turn around and go in that direction? You create an obstacle, right? Or you put a wall so that it redirects you to the right path. That's what it felt like. My neck was so stiffly looking at this one plan that I thought was going to be the most brilliant plan to get me to where I wanted to go. And then what happened was the wall happened, aka my luggage being lost, which became the domino that fell into a bunch of other dominoes falling on my plans. And here I was laughing at this dinner, being like, what? How magical is this? We were in awe of how, yeah, how the universe works. How did we end up here? And we became friends so quickly because we also went through the harrowing adventures of Cairo and the taxi and all the things. And I'll probably do another podcast episode about the different parts of me. I call them global number one and Venus. And I felt that both parts just felt so seen by her in this dinner conversation. And basically, the business strategy that we came up with allows both parts to thrive and really set the tone for the rest of the week in Egypt. And as a side note, in order to get to the restaurant, it was like this windy path. And there was this really cool place. We didn't even end up going into this club. It kind of looked like a jazz club, a performance venue. Both of our interest was peaked, but at the time that was like 11 p.m. We're like, no, 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 we need to go to sleep. But yeah, like the aesthetics of it. And there was a poster and it was called Studio Samara or something like that. And it was red and black. It was exactly the vibe I had in my head of this creative expression that has been percolating in my body, in my spirit, and in my vision for at least 7 years, close to a decade now. I've seen this vision of myself performing. It's like this red, dark red, dimly lit, black, very moody venue. And I don't know. Anyway, I mentioned this because it'll make sense later. Because I'm so happy that the universe led me to Senya and also our dinner and then my business strategy and also the scarves and also this alleyway where I saw that poster because that poster to me is very significant because it plants another seed into my creative expression, which again, I'll talk about in a future episode. But anyway, you know what I mean? So the word surrender for me feels like I wrote this in my journal December 4th, 2025, when I was in Egypt. Surrender. Ungrip your hands so you can receive all the big miracles with your name on them. There are bigger visions and miracles meant for me. Ungrip your hands so you can receive all the big miracles with your name on them. There are bigger visions meant for me. There are bigger miracles meant for me that I can't even see. Okay, so this was just part one of this whole Egypt surrender thing. The next day, both Senya and I can't sleep, by the way, after this portal of a dinner. We're both in our respective bathtubs. She's in her Airbnb, I'm in my bougie hotel, and we're just like WhatsApping each other. Oh my God, this is so crazy. At 2 a.m., I don't even remember. I think it was 2 a.m. And then I was taking a bath because I couldn't sleep. So again, that night I couldn't really sleep. So this is now going on 3 consecutive nights of no sleep. Thankfully, being a mom has trained me for this moment. So I'm delirious. I meet up with the rest of the group. This is our unofficial first day together. And we have this really grand day. We have the luxurious breakfast at my hotel. And then where did we go? I think we went to the pyramids. And oh, yeah. So we go to the pyramids, we ride the camels, which is so fun and honestly so relaxing. It's kind of scary because you're in really high elevation because of the camel. But then as you kind of get in the swing of things with the camel ride, it's just so calming. It feels like you're being rocked side to side like a little baby and you're seeing the pyramids. It's amazing. And then because we were spending so much time, I forget what we were doing. I don't know why it got postponed. I think it's because we were taking so many pictures and videos. So we were late on schedule and we knew that we wanted to have enough time to go to the museum, the really grand, I think it's called the Grand Egyptian Museum. But that there's a time limit for that. We have to go by a certain time. So we had to choose. We either can go inside the Great Pyramid or there's this art installation by the pyramids where you can take cool photos and stuff. So the most of the group wants to go do the art installations, but Sanya wanted to go inside the pyramids. And I was sort of like, I don't know. Do I want to go inside the pyramids? It's going to be the whole hike. Or do I do the installation? I basically wanted to do both. And I was going to go do the art installation, but at the last minute, I changed my mind. Something was calling me inside the pyramids because I wasn't necessarily going to Egypt in order to go inside the pyramids, but my feeling was, when else am I going to be back, you know? So I should just do the thing. And so I decided to go inside the pyramids. So Seni and I proceed to have this incredible journey and pilgrimage inside the pyramids. I don't know if you know, but going inside the pyramids, I banged my head a couple times because you have to really crouch. I'm wearing these, it's not heels, like mules or 3-inch platforms shoes, which by the way, like it was so chic and also so comfortable. So I have no complaints. But anyway, I'm wearing these 3-inch platform shoes in my flowy burgundy skirt and wrapped around with my new burgundy scarf that I found yesterday. Delirious on no sleep. And Sunny and I are going inside the pyramid and we're like, is this real? And we're just climbing, 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 climbing. And there's a million stairs and it's a whole thing. And as I'm climbing this pyramid, and later when I realized I had 20,000 steps or something crazy like that, I'm laughing to myself because I had asked for my fitness journey to begin. I asked for the gym. So my brain, my limited brain is, oh, I'm at this bougie hotel. So the best way to start my fitness journey is to go to the gym, which by the way isn't a crazy gym. It's like a just like a normal hotel gym. I'm like, oh, I'll start doing weights. Meanwhile, God, spirit, ancestors, universe was, no, I'll have a better idea. You can start your fitness journey by going inside the pyramids. What would you choose? You know, obviously the pyramids, like that is obviously the cooler thing that I would have said yes to had I really even thought of that as an option, right? So I feel like this is such an example of I said I wanted something. I had an intention for something, fitness. My brain sees gym as the only option. So I'm just upset that this gym is not working. But when I surrendered and went with the flow, God basically showed me what the plan was, which was for me to go inside the pyramid. And because, by the way, that day, that night, the next day, like, my legs were dead. My legs and my butt, everything was dead because of how much it was basically Stairmasters on steroids. Anyway, another example. We go inside the Great Pyramid into basically the tomb area, and it's super humid. And there's salt lamps everywhere, and it feels like a Himalayan salt room sort of vibe where it's humid, dimly lit, and there's a tomb, and everyone's freaking sweating. And it was so beautiful. Sunny and I were both singing and touching the pyramid and just having a beautiful, really deep time there. And I was like, "Wait, this is the sauna that I was asking for." Meanwhile, I wanted to go to just a normal hotel sauna when God wanted me to go inside the pyramid and experience this sauna of connecting with my voice, connecting with my friend Sanya, connecting with the pyramid, connecting with the energy there, and a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I was just laughing, like, "What?" That's when I just kept getting reminded and shown in these obvious examples of how I can trust that beautiful things are on their way to me. Miracles are on their way to me at all times, and I have to release the grip of my hands to be able to receive these miracles, to spot the opportunity for these miracles, because there are things that I can't even see yet with my naked eye that are an even better fit for me than what I'm relentlessly driving towards. And by the way, that doesn't mean to be fully passive and not take any action. I had to constantly take action to get myself to this point. I had to say yes to Egypt. I had to say yes to having another type of Egypt experience than I had planned. I had to say yes to asking for help in the group chat. I had to say yes to meeting up with someone I had never I think actually, well, Sunny and I met virtually before, but, meeting up with someone when I had been planning to just spend my day alone, saying yes to dinner when I was tired, and then saying yes to going inside the pyramids. Like, I had to say yes, right? But I really had to let go of my original plan, and I got an even better experience after that. By the way, the retreat hasn't even started yet. I hadn't even gone to the museum yet. Like, I'm talking about this is like the prologue, pre pre of the pre of the actual thing that I went for. So, I'm having this crazy experience and life lesson of surrender even before the actual thing. Maybe I'll talk about the actual week of in Egypt in a separate episode because I feel like this is already long. But it was so surreal. Like, I felt in my bones the grandeur, the beauty, the expansiveness, the wildness of miracles waiting for me. And I can't even see it. And so I think about for us, how often do we have a plan that we're so fixated on and we're closing ourselves up to even greater things from the divine, from the world, from the universe doing its magic, from future relationships waiting to happen, from future opportunities waiting to come, because we're trying to force our plan as the answer. So I have this part of me, I referenced it, global number one. I'll do a whole episode about this. But I have Aries in my chart. I'm an eldest daughter. I'm intense. I also have experience in sales and everything. So I know what it's like to push forward and get to my goal. Like, I am a very good sprinter to my goals. Like, if I have a goal, I know I am going to get it. And that's part of my strengths. But I think at a certain point, that becomes my weakness if I don't know when to surrender and go with the flow. So for me, it's been finding the dance of taking action and surrendering, setting an intention, putting it out there, taking action, surrendering. going with the flow. That part to me, which feels like the more feminine part of me, of going with my flow, with surrendering, of really being in that receptive mode, to me, it's balancing my inner masculine and feminine in that way, in business and in life. Because if I'm gripping the steering wheel so tightly, how is my high self, God, spirit, ancestors supposed to guide me? They're legit having to take my hands off the steering wheel so they can take over and show me where they're trying to take me. The white knuckling, hustling, unstoppable eldest daughter immigrant version of me with the chronic back pain wore her armor and played by the masculine rules to get to where she needed to go historically. And it got me places. It got me to the university that I wanted to go to. It got me to jobs that I wanted. It got me to a lot of things, a lot of praise and validation from my parents, from my community. And when my body eventually pulled the emergency brake through my chronic back pain, where I couldn't sit for more than 10 minutes at a time and led me to somatic healing, I began to feel my body soften, my heart open, and the power of my femininity and creative flow return. But when it came to business, money, security, the masculine part of me historically always took over. The part that was taking action, had a plan, had a goal, and that part did not trust my feminine side to make money. But the funny part is, I've tried many times in entrepreneurship to make my business financially viable, repeatedly burned out, returned to corporate. I was forced to try a different way after basically when I became pregnant and I was in a job that was making me so stressed, and I couldn't see how I was going to be able to be a present, available, relaxed, happy mom while at this job. So I knew I needed to find another way. I was just trying to make it to maternity leave. And during maternity leave, when I was rebuilding my business with a newborn, I was like, I cannot burn out this time. I cannot return to corporate this time. This is the end. It really like it was like me burning the rope that was tying my metaphorical boat to the harbor. I was like, game over. I am not playing around. I am locking in. I will not burn out. So with that conviction, I was like, I'm willing to try anything, including letting my feminine side lead. So when I became pregnant, and I became a mother, that was the first time when I experienced firsthand the sheer power of my softness, my femininity, the power of relaxing into expansion, of trusting, surrendering, inviting ease, flow, sensuality, pleasure. I know everyone's experience is different, but for me, after pretty much 5 straight years of experiencing and working through my blockage of becoming a mother, which I feel like could be a whole nother episode. I wrote a Substack about this. I can link it about my journey to motherhood and how it took so long and so many different ways of healing and being curious about why I felt so afraid of becoming a mom. Like I thought I was going to have to give up my life, my career, my pleasures, my hobbies, my body, everything. I thought I was going to end when I became a mom. And looking back, I'm realizing it's a lot of the ancestral things in my maternal lineage because I saw firsthand how my amma, my halmani had to give up so much and I was not willing to. But anyway, with my journey to motherhood, I felt like I was rewriting those stories in my body of what does it look like to be supported, to not have to do this alone, to feel like I can receive support, that I can receive love, and how can I relax my body as it expands and as my identity dies and as I'm heading into this rebirth and the goo of metamorphosis, how can I relax into that? Because even from a biological standpoint, the relaxin in our bodies when we become pregnant, our body needs to relax in order to expand. Literally, the belly expands and giving birth, as you expand to give, at least in vaginal birth, how do you relax while going through the crazy intensity of contractions of this baby descending. And anyway, I felt in my body the sheer power of my femininity, the sheer power of what my body is able to do when it softens and it relaxes. How do you relax on cue? How do you relax into what is an uncomfortable experience, right? And so I was just in awe of what my body was capable of. And I found myself wondering as I was rebuilding my business postpartum, what would it look like if this relaxed, confident, grounded, feminine mother led my business? What if my inner mother led my business? The one who gave birth with confidence, giving zero fucks, and so deeply at home in her body. The one who trusted spirit and ancestors, the one who communicated with her baby to bring him earthside. What if she drove the ship of my business? So that's how this lesson of surrender to me all tied together of how can I allow this inner mother in me, this inner feminine power, this feminine fire, this part of me that is so willing to yield to my expansion, letting my expansion take me, shape me, form me into this new version of myself that I need to be, to have the courage to let go of what needs to fall away, including my elaborate plan of what it looks like to expand with ease and pleasure. You know, the glorious hotel day that I planned, that was my plan, to expand with ease and pleasure. God had an even better plan. So I'm choosing to yield, I'm choosing to surrender. And I'm realizing that the definition that I had originally growing up of surrendering, waving the white flag, it's only a negative thing if you see that you winning is you going the path that you wanted. If I give up my plan, my strategy, but I get what I want in an even better way, if I'm yielding to an even better plan to get to where I want to go in an even better way, how is that losing? That's winning. And I think of sometimes for us in life and also in entrepreneurship, we have this inner GPS, right? So your body is the car, the vessel, and you have a sense of location where you're at right now, right? When you plug in the GPS, where are you right now? Current location. And then you have a sense of direction of a destination. Let's just say you're in New York, you want to go to California. So you plug in New York and you plug in California. You need to know where you're at and where you want to go in order to navigate the inner GPS. Sometimes we don't even know where we want to go. We just have a general direction or a hunch, or, oh, I think I want to move in this direction. Maybe I want to go somewhere with a little bit more green or whatever it is. But it's also helpful to know, like, take inventory of where am I at right now, orient to my current location, tend to my physical vessel, which is the car, put in the gas or plug in the electric vehicle charging thing so that you have enough gas to go. And you can trust that the GPS will take you to where you need to go. Do you need to know when you're going to turn left? All the times you're going to turn left and turn right, and how many miles you need to go on this freeway and that freeway from New York to California? No, you're trusting that the GPS is telling you where to go. And in each moment, you have your current location and you have your destination in mind, but you're not fixated on it. You're present on the journey, right? When you're driving, you're present. Oh, I'm crossing this state line. I'm turning left here because the GPS is telling me in 5 miles we're going to get off this freeway. So you're enjoying the trip, you're enjoying the journey, and clarity is a state of being at this point. Your clarity is something that you're embodying and trusting because you have GPS telling you where to go. So I feel like your inner GPS, like your intuition, your connection with your ancestors, your connection with your body, all of it, your strategic brain, your creative brain, you have a lot of things going for you to help you get to where you want to go. But your relationship to God, to spirit, to the universe, what have you, things that are bigger than you, is so important as well, because you're trying to map out the journey from New York to California with your brain. That's not really a good use of our brain to know the ins and outs. You don't need to know the exact route to get to where you want to go. You need a sense of location, you need a sense of direction, you need a body, a vessel, a car, you need gas, you need snacks along the way. Maybe you want to bring a friend, but really, you don't need to know. And even if you have a plan and it's perfect, but who knows? Maybe there's a rainstorm and there's a flood and you have to get off the freeway. Or maybe there's an accident and it's better you save a day of driving by going on the local roads. You just don't know, right? So I keep telling myself, repeating to myself these days, there are miracles coming my way. Miracles are coming my way, and I can't even see what they're like yet. I can't even imagine what they are yet. I can't even conceive of the grandeur, the awe, the beauty of these miracles. I can't see it, but it's okay. And the thing about miracles is that they come in mysteriously delicious ways. They come with precise timing. They come at the perfect timing in ways that you can't even engineer. So, this is what I'm reminding myself when it feels like things aren't happening soon enough. I'm a planner. I'm planning out my months, my quarters, my years, projecting revenue, all these things. And I have all these multiple projects I'm juggling. And sometimes I get frustrated because something that I'm waiting on from someone gets delayed, or I'm hoping for certain revenue streams to get unlocked sooner. I'm like, am I okay, if I'm projecting income to come in the fall? Am I okay now knowing that that's going to come, but it's not here yet, right? And holding the frequency of my expansion, my expanded self, because if I freak out now and just fill my time with immediate cash flows or immediate things that will make me feel a little bit more secure, it's filling my calendar with commitments that will prohibit me from getting the bigger things that I want. So I'm reminding myself that I am taking action. I am showing up every day. I'm putting in the work. I have a sense of location and a sense of direction. I know where I want to go. I don't need to know the route. I don't need to know how everything's going to go. Part of life and part of the joy and pleasures and silliness, and I think of like winks from the universe, winks from my ancestors, is that there are these beautiful surprises that remind us of the beauty of life, right? And I think surrendering truly allows me to not rush as much. And I grew up feeling urgent all the time, as someone who grew up in Korean culture. 빨리 빨리 means faster, faster. We live in a 빨리 빨리 culture. We're in a fire horse year. We're currently in Aries season. It's just a lot. It would be so easy for me to rush right now, to speed up, to match the frantic pace of everything moving, to ride this green light energy and go as fast as possible. That's my default setting. I felt urgent most of my life to succeed, to make it, to reach my goals, to finally get to where I need to go. And yet, these days, I remind myself I am already living the life I was dreaming of 1 year ago, 2 years ago. So instead of speeding up, I've been experimenting with going 10% slower, 20% slower, 30% slower, even when it feels completely counter to my instincts. I used this example before, but if you live in SoCal, you probably get this. If you don't, I'm sorry, but bear with me. But it's like being in the fast track lane on the highway. So maybe where you live, there's another version. It's like the express lane, like the carpool lane, essentially. But in SoCal, in Southern California, everyone is speeding. You're weaving in and out of cars, changing lanes, constantly shaving off minutes, trying to get ahead. But when you're really rushed and you're trying to shave off those minutes and you weave in and out, you're stressed, people are honking at you, you're doing all these things and you almost die. You do all of that and then you end up at your destination right next to the car that calmly stayed in one lane the whole time. Because for whatever reason, the universe balanced it out. The car that was blocking you from going super fast, it ends up being a block 5 minutes later. And then you end up right next to the car that calmly stayed in their lane. Or when you try to take a shortcut and end up 15 minutes later than you expected, In my early 20s, I used to live my life like that at 1.5x speed, probably 2x speed. I was always rushing to get somewhere, so pressed to get to my destination as fast as possible. But now I'm challenging myself to go 10% slower, 20% slower, because I'm curious what it feels like to build a business and a life where I am not rushed. What does it feel like to not rushed? I don't want to be a rushed woman. And no shade to my mom, I love Amma, but she was always rushed. She was always rushing us around. And it's really ingrained into a lot of Korean people. It's like anxiety that will be late. And I think the thing about miracles, that was my word for 2025. Miracles do not rush. They come in precise timing, they come with precision, and they come in ways that we cannot anticipate. So there is no way to rush a miracle. I have a very personal example with this that maybe I'll share in the future, and I'm still moving through it. So I want to save that for a little bit later. But I've been reminded of how just because you're ready and just because they're ready, the thing that you're bringing to life, whether it's a business or whatever it is, it doesn't mean the timing is right necessarily for you to just push ahead and just make it happen. Sure, you can bring it to life in the ways that you want and rush, but it won't be the same. And there's an even better plan. There's an even better timing. And if you could just surrender a little bit, and maybe it's not just full on surrender with no care, just know that there's a part of you. For me, it's the eldest daughter, Nuna part, the strategic part. She will never fully let go. She always has a plan. So I love that there's a part of me that's always watching out for me, that's trying really hard, that's taking action. But the other part of me, like I really want to lean into her too, of what does it feel like to trust that my intentions, my destination, my efforts are being heard? And there's this beautiful miracle that's on my way. So I don't need to rush. Everything that I want can unfold and will unfold in due time. It doesn't all need to happen right now. I probably can't even handle it? So, what does it feel like and what does it look like to expand with ease, not urgency? And I think ease is a prerequisite for pleasure. And when I go 10% slower, I create space energetically, in time, in safety. And strangely, by not rushing, I find that I have more time somehow. There's more space for ideas to land, space for unexpected opportunities, space for that unplanned lightning of inspiration and clarity. My body actually has time to process what's happening so that I don't find myself trapped in a sprint crash burnout cycle, so that I'm not dramatically expanding, then contracting when I have to come to where I have to come to a full halt to recover from the too much feeling of expansion, right? I'm able to integrate and calibrate as I expand, allowing for more stable expansion. By going 10% slower, I'm able to pay more attention to my needs, surrounding myself with support. I can see more clearly, make more grounded decisions, and tend to my nervous system, and really build an internal sense of safety. So growth, change, rebirth can feel more neutral for something that I can handle, right? And by rushing 10% less, I'm finding myself expanding with more grace, more pleasure, more play, less stress, and actively tending to all the different parts of me that want to be included in this journey. And this is important because I'm not here to just sprint to the next milestone. I'm here for the long play. So I want to ask you, what do you want to surrender to in this moment? What are you being called to surrender to? Can you ungrip your hands, loosen the grip in your hands 10% so that you can receive all the big miracles with your name on them, the bigger visions meant for you that are already on their way? Can you ungrip your hands 10%? Can you move 10% slower to enjoy the journey, to create space for these miracles to arrive? What might become available if you did, if you loosened your grip, if you surrendered, if you took action, set intention, but let go for the world to do its thing and give you an even bigger miracle that you can't even see yet. So, let me know if this episode resonated with you and if you're ready to really explore what this next chapter looks like for you and clarify your direction around your next season of launching your business, growing your business in a way that allows you to live your life to the fullest extent, whether it's being able to spend time with your loved ones, having time freedom, having the ability to be supported by your business and be able to leave your 9 to 5 job. If you are wondering, how do I bring this vision to life in a way that's financially viable and also in a way that makes me feel creatively alive? I want to tell you that it is so possible and you don't have to do it alone. I want to invite you into a very special offering that I am so excited to share with you. It's called Uncover Your Hidden Brilliance. It's a 5-week coaching experience for daughters of immigrants and women of color entrepreneurs and creatives. And it's all about helping you uncover that hidden brilliance, your hidden zone of genius that you can't see because it comes so easily to you. It's so natural to you. You can't even see it. How can we uncover and leverage that thing that's staring right in your face that is asking for your attention as you clarify your offering, your direction, and your growth strategy for your business in a way that doesn't make you burn out? I want to help you, whether it's booking your first clients or scaling your business to 6 figures or multi 6 figures. I want to help you get there. And what we're going to do is 3 live 90-minute coaching sessions as a group. And it's going to be a little bit of a workshop style in the beginning, but a lot of hot seat coaching. So you get one-on-one strategy coaching and support. And I really want you to leave with decisions made, clarity on next steps, and from a somatic standpoint, being able to feel like your nervous system feels safe enough to take those actions forward. And we're going to have access to strategic thought, partnership, and coaching in between the sessions through our Circle platform. And we can help you with messaging, pricing, sales marketing strategy, mindset blocks, unblocking visibility. And I can help you review your copy, your business ideas, your email strategy questions. And I can't wait for this mini offering. I haven't offered something like this like ever, where it's lower ticket and it's a shorter experience. But I'm really, really excited. You'll be able to simplify your business model and action plans so that you're focused on the 1 to 2 things most pivotal to your goals without burning out. We're going to design a simple, effective, easeful sales marketing strategy tailored to your unique zone of genius so that you can get to your 2026 revenue goal. I am so excited for who is ready to dive in, and there will be a special offering for folks who join this to be able to join Brilliance a little bit early with exclusive bonuses. So yeah, if you know that you want to be part of Brilliance in the fall, this is the room to get in. You will get the best perks by joining this experience early. And then for people who are like, I'm not sure, and I want to experience being in the room with you and getting coached by you and learning about how to leverage my greatest strengths to grow my business in an easeful, joyful way. Let's do it. It's going to be from May 14th through June 17th, and early bird pricing ends May 1st. Limited spots available. So click the link in the show notes to uncover your hidden brilliance and secure your seat. If you have any questions, just DM me. And otherwise, I'm so excited to be back with season 2. Stay tuned for more episodes, and I will see you in the next episode.